Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Abyss Full of Coach channel. Today we're going to be looking at Tri-brigade Sprite. Now this is a deck I've wanted to try for a while, like I said on my friend duelist infernos channel. And if you want a basic breakdown of this deck, I'd definitely go there. I'll leave a link in the description to that video. But here I wanted to show you a more thorough breakdown of the deck. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a detailed description of my ratios and card choices. And as I continue playing with the deck and upgrading and changing it, we'll show the changes as we go along. So let's begin. For the Tri-brigade, we have 2 Kiras, triple Neverall, 3 Kit, and 3 Fractal. So my thinking with this ratio was that the 3 Fractal and 3 Kit were fairly standard for Sprite anyway, because this searches your entire combo piece, so this is kind of mandatory 3 of no matter what Tri-brigade deck you're playing. And this is the best level 2 Tri-brigade, which synergizes very well with the sprites, because every sprite works with generic level 2s, not just their own level 2s. This ratio, I think, in the future would be something like this, rather than what I've got now. Because the idea with Neverall is this card can be a brick if you draw it on yourself. You pretty much have to use it to make Masquerena at best. I think what you should do with this deck is play less of these and play more of the sprite names than I did. But this is still an important part of your combo, because you want to send this off kit from both the Fractal plays, or if you draw a kit, you can make gigantic sprite, send the kit off of that, dump this, and then you have 2 Tri-brigades in your graveyard, which is all you need in this combo, because you're locked into link 2 and belows. And the Karas is the second most important after Kit, but again, because he's so searchable, you only need 2 of it. So that was my reasoning for those ratios. This should probably be another red, I think, or possibly a carrot, depending on what my meta turns into. So complementing that is 3 Tenki and 1 Tri-brigade Revolt. Now, if I had a third copy of one of my board breaker cards, this would be 2, because you really don't need that many of these, because unlike a lot of Tri-brigade decks, Fractal is not the most important. A kit by itself can actually get your combos going. You only need one of this because you're using the Sprite engine to grind more than the Tri-brigades, so you don't need to bring out multiple copies of Shurak. 1 is usually enough. So that's my take on this ratio right here. If you want to add more Tri-brigade extenders, you could play Foolish Burial, or you could play 1 for 1. I don't think they were necessary in this particular build, but they're definitely an option. That's our Tri-brigade engine. Now for my Sprite engine, we'll just show you the big 3 first. This is standard in pretty much every Sprite deck, no matter what the build is. Because any one of these 9 cards is full Sprite combo. The only difference is what the end board looks like. If you open blue, you go blue, jet, search, smashes, and then you place them there, and then you have 1 disruption and your full combo board. However, if you have the jet to start things off, you go jet, get a starter, which can start your combos, ironically, and get blue from there. You get out blue, and then instead of getting smashes, you get Sprite Red, which is a negate. So either way, you're getting a piece of disruption. It's obviously doing the blue way first is better, because smashes is both an interruption going first and a way to help break boards going second. But both are good options, and the reason this engine is so good. It's in a way kind of like Zodiac, because you can splash this into any engine this engine into any deck that will take level 2s, and drawing one of these cards will set your combos going. So nothing much more to say about these. These are pretty standard. The other thing I would add is, if you are playing Pixies, which I think I might going forward, then this is also another form of interruption, because it gives you a searchable Honest. So yes, the rest of the Sprite engine I played was 1 red, 1 double cross, and 1 smashes. So again, depending on your setup, you can end your turn with, in addition to your board, either a piece of removal or another negate. This one is something I will definitely be cutting in the future. It's a monster reborn, essentially. It can do other things, but I genuinely do think I should have played a carrot or a second red instead, for more ways to extend. So that's my take on the Sprite engine. And the rest of these cards are completely malleable. It comes down to your local meta and your preference of playstyle. So I chose a hand trap heavy build with with one board breaker for the last 2 cards in the deck. So this is my reason for this. Tier is still our biggest opponent, so you want something like this that can disrupt it. Ash, my thinking was it's good against mirrors and it can stop some tier plays. But if you have a more tier heavy meta, I would say take this out and replace it with Ghost Spell personally. Imperm is probably the better interruption because it's not limited to just search effects like Ash is. So I think this is one you should definitely keep in, or possibly a Veiler. And Withdrawal, this is a flex spot. You could play Dark Ruler and Moors instead of this, or Lightning Storms, or any other form of board breaking. But I think disrupting bigger combo decks is preferable. I chose this as my only main deck board breaker, mostly because it can set up your grave with Tri-brigade names. But you could also, like I said, play Lightning Storm, play Dark Ruler no More, or other form of board breakers, evenly matched even if you want to. So this is definitely what makes the deck strong though. Because these engines require so little to get started, you get this much open space for interaction. And that's pretty much the benefit of Tri-brigade Sprite. This is also the case in most other builds of the deck, like Life Twin and Pure variants. So to move on to the extra deck. For the sprites, we have 2 elves and 1 gigantic. Something Duelist Inferno asked me in our profiles why I only play 1 gigantic sprite. That's because, like unlike other variants of the deck, the Tri-brigade engine isn't just there to prop up the sprite engine. So you only need 1 because the Tri-brigade will be doing most of the heavy lifting in this deck. If you don't know what this does, you can activate its effect, search a card, then detach a material. So often you'll be getting either a level 2 Tri-brigade or another sprite. But the most important part is that it locks you down. It locks both you and your opponent into level and rank 2 and below. So because of this, as most people know, this card makes Nibiru a horrible card to play against your deck, which is something that Tri-brigade can struggle with sometimes. It also, if you make it before the opponent starts going off into elements, can lock them out of their Havness plays, because Havness is level 3. Now, Elf is the star of the Sprite engine in this deck, because not only can this recover Sprite cards, if you can use this to repeatedly trigger Shurag turn after turn in much the same way that Silver Shiller could do, because this can bring back any level or 2 from the graveyard, or rank 2s if you're playing against your opponent's field. So basically what you want to do with this is, you want to go on your opponent's turn, you want to bring back either a Sprite to trigger a card, pin out early that will look to this, or a Tri-brigade to get another activation out of your Shurag if it's past turn 2. So complementing this, we have Hit Knight early. This is what this is mean. Basically, this is one of the end points of your turn 1 board. If you use this, you get back a Tri-brigade with its effect. You use the Tri-brigade with the 2 others you summoned to the event part of your combo to make this. Then you link that and the Tri-brigade off to make this. This gives you a negate and a revolt, along with the interruption here. So that's the main engine of the deck. For the rest of our links, Almirage, this is mostly to if we have a bricky hand, like say we put a Kith and no way to extend our plays. We summon Kith, we make this, Kith goes to the grave, so it's never all, and we can get going again. For our link 2s, IP Masquerena, Baron Blossom, and Double Dragon. So Double Dragon, if we have a really good hand and have extra extenders on board, we can make this with extra Tri-brigades, which gives us a bounce in addition to our usual removal. It also along with smashes, gives you a way to empty your main zone, so you have 4 spots to get Tri-brigade Revolt off. This lets you play extra Tri-brigades from your hand, and it gives you a chance to fix your hand if you opened up, for example, 2 Ash Blossoms or 2 Imperms. And if we have extras also, we can also make this, because the Sprite board is good already, but getting to play this in your opponent's turn as well, once you're no longer under the gigantic Sprite lock, gives it an extra form of disruption. In addition to this, you can discard a Tri-brigade kit off of Unicorn if you have one, to allow you to do an additional setup during your opponent's turn for the next turn. And then we have Silver Shiller, along with Elf. These 2 cards recycle your resources like mad. You can get 2 or 3 cards in your hand with these 2 every turn. And that's why this version is so good, because not only is it a good combo deck, it also has a backup grindy element to it. And then we just play the big hitters. I've said this before, now, I've often said if you can afford it, play Access Quote over this. But one thing I'll say about this deck is, because you have so much field presence, it really don't come down to personal choice. You can get 4 bodies on the board and make this very easily. So again, this is actually one of the better, this could actually be a decent option nowadays. This is something we can make if we get extra resources, and an extra 2 negates to any board is always good. The only thing about this card is you can't make it if you Gigantic Sprite first, because you're locked under to Lincoln rank 2s. And finally, 1 Shirag. You don't need more than this because, like I said, you have so much way to occur value. You don't need more than 1 to do your combos. And the final card is this. This is probably our second best IP target after Unicorn. Like Unicorn, it can take a card off the board. It will not make you discard a card like Unicorn, but the card will be in their graveyard, so you potentially not robbing them with much resources. Also, with how many graveyard strategies there are today, the solemn effect for graveyards comes up a lot. And that's the more in-depth breakdown. If you want to see the side deck, I would recommend Duelist Infernos video. And that's the build that currently stands. I'll be doing some updates to this build soon, and I'll update you on my progress. Happy New Year, everyone, and I'll see you soon.